I'm Lucia Graves with The Guardian, and I am here with Jill Harth and her attorney, Lisa Bloom. Jill first filed a sexual assault case against Donald Trump in the 1990s. This week, she is talking about it for the very first time. I wanted to start at the beginning with you. Can you tell me about the first time that you met Donald Trump?
Yes, it was in 1992, in December. George Harani and I went up to Trump Tower and met with him in his offices.
And that was your business and romantic partner at the time?
Yes, yes. And we were very excited because we were presenting an offer for him to sponsor and become a partner in our event that we wanted him to hold in Atlantic City at one of his casinos.
And how big a deal was this for you professionally, landing a partnership with Trump? How much did you have riding on it?
It was the highlight of our career in producing these events, and we thought it was going to be the answer to our prayers in a way. I was in a very tough predicament. This was when you have sexual harassment, it's always a very fine line, whether you make a stink, make a big deal, because I didn't want to embarrass him. In a way, I wanted to just deal with it and handle it. In retrospect, I wish I didn't. It was impressive, his amount of things, his mansion, the opulence. I had never been around it or exposed to anything like this. And then after that, he said, okay, everybody, I'm going to give you a tour of the mansion. Okay, a tour. So it started out as a group tour. But at a very soon opportunity, he gave me a private tour. And that's when he pulled me aside in the children's room and made another sexually aggressive advance on me, where he tried to make his move. He pushed me up against the wall and had his hands all over me and tried to get up my dress again, and I had to physically say, what are you doing? Stop it. It was a shocking thing to have him do this, because he knew I was with George. He knew that they were in the next room, and how could he be doing this when I'm there for business?
This is the one that you mentioned in your 1997 complaint as, you referred to it as attempted rape.
I told you what happened to me. Mm-hmm. I didn't write that complaint.
I see.
The lawyer wrote it.
Okay. So
they used legal language. But I told you what happened. You could interpret it any way you want. If it's not consensual and somebody just pushes you up against the wall and it was all over you, if I hadn't pushed him away, I'm sure he would have just went for it. He was aggressive, and he has the sense of entitlement. And he thinks everybody's in love with him, every woman. I've heard him say things like this from the time that I spent with him. Once Trump ran for president, they jumped right on finding that complaint. And because of that, I was pretty much attacked by the press with phone calls, and I refused to speak because I was on friendly terms with him. He made the first move to be friendly. So what was I supposed to do? Hang on to it and become embittered all these years? No, I moved on. I'm the kind of person that I just had to go on, move on, and rebuild myself. Then the press found out about this, complaint and it started up again. And I had to think about things that I have long buried because honestly, it was painful for me to have to do with it. It was stressful. It gave me anxiety. It definitely wounded my marriage. It wasn't the death knell, but it wounded it. It was stressful for us having to handle this. And Trump did everything in his power to get me to leave him. He constantly called me and said, I love you, baby. I'm going to be the best lover you ever had. What are you doing with that loser? You need to be with me. You need to step up to the big leagues. He was constantly working on me during that time. And that took a toll on me. Okay? So, why I'm talking about it now is because I didn't talk. We were on friendly terms, but Donald just couldn't resist the opportunity to call me a liar and said that everything was made up, false reports. But the topper came when Ivanka went on CBS and said her father was not a groper. Well, now I understand the girl wanted to defend her dad, being it's her dad, but what did she know? She was 10 years old. She was 10 years old at the time. She didn't know what her father was about, what he was doing, how he was acting.
Did he ever tell you explicitly not to talk about it or threaten you in any way?
Well, I'll tell you, his office, and I have it on my voicemails that they called, and asked me to recant everything when the New York Times article came out. They were trying to get me to say it never happened, I made it up. And I said, I'm not doing that. I wasn't doing that. Now, I did go to one of his rallies. Yes, I did go to his rallies because, again, I had moved on. I am a businesswoman. I have a product line for men called Made Man, okay? I was going to visit friends down there. They wanted to go. They're big Trump supporters. And they go, wouldn't it be a hoot if you went too? So I said, okay. So I called the office. They got me reserved seating, treated me like a VIP. I waited on no lines. And then I was escorted in by the Secret Service at Donald's request to see me. So when I was there,
Were you supportive of him politically at that point? Would you consider yourself a Trump fan at that point?
You know what? It's like having somebody you know run for president that you know. You know him. So I'm like, well, okay, I'm here. At the time, I was over it, so I was like, yeah. But I didn't really get into the issues. It was still kind of young. It was in January of this year. You know, I honestly can't believe he's made it this far, in all honesty. And I'm definitely not supporting him now. Hell no. No.
And sort of the moment when you went from being like, oh, well, maybe I'll go to his rally to actually I'm going to speak out about what happened to me was after he denied the story in the
rally,
Times.
when I spoke to him privately for a few minutes, I said to him, listen, Donald, you know, he treated me very warmly, introduced me saying how great I was. Oh, isn't she great? Great. Jill was such a great. Of course, I was great then, okay? Then I said to him at that meeting, if the press ever bring up this complaint, because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh boy, I'm not going to say anything. But they found it pretty quickly after, and he was like, don't worry about it. I said, I'm not going to say anything bad. We've moved on. We're friendly. And, you know, he thanked me. He gave me a hug. So I thought that was an agreement. He's not going to say anything either. But fast forward, the first opportunity when he was asked about it, he said I was a liar. And I'm speaking up now. I am defending myself. And I am standing up for myself, and I am saying, that's what happened. You can believe it or not, but I went through hell, and I still have to relive this again. And I just am horrified that I have to think about this again. I've been offered book deals to write book scripts. I turned everything down, and that was for money. I could have spoken out years before this. And having the complaint out on the internet where my clients have seen it, people in my family who I didn't really talk about this. It's been such a breach of my privacy and embarrassing to me, and it's hurt my business. And I didn't want this to be my story. I wanted to be known for my work and for my artistic ability and for who I am, not to be associated with him.